Sacramento Kings and that situation they have going on with George Karl. There were some reports earlier, actually not even earlier in the week, more like going on 2 weeks now, that they were talking about firing George Karl. They said that it was all but set. The decision had been made. He was going to be fired. The team was mired in a big losing streak. Of course, the Sacramento Kings are a team that I picked to make the playoffs this year. I don't know exactly how high the expectations were around the rest of the league, but there's certainly some talent on this team. You have a DeMarcus Cousins, you bring in a Rajon Rondo, and you have a Rudy Gay who is already there. So a decent core, Ben McLemore as well, young player rising, and they just weren't getting off to a good start. But then earlier in the week, George Karl met with Vlade Divac, who is the president of basketball operations or general manager, whatever. He has that title, making basically the decision making. I don't know if he has that exact title of one of the other general manager or director of basketball operations, but certainly he is in that role there, and it appears they're going to keep George Karl. Now it's interesting here. Sacramento, despite being 2-8 in their last 10, comes in or to the All-Star break, so they'll be coming out of the All-Star break just 4.5 back of Utah, who's 26-26, a 500 team, and Portland as well, who's the 7th seed. They're 27-27, so they just have one more win than the Utah Jazz do. They've played one more game than the Kings have. The Utah Jazz have played one less game, so certainly there's potential there that the Kings can make a run. They've already had a bad stretch. You come out of the All-Star break, you can certainly right the ship. Teams have a little bad stretches all the time. I mean, we've seen the Boston Celtics, who are up to third in the Eastern Conference. They had a 1-6 stretch. The Bulls, now injuries have played a role. They've certainly gone down a little bit. They've been up and down. But you look at a team like the Dallas Mavericks, they're starting to come back to earth. They're 4-6 in their last 10, have not been playing that well of late. And that was a team that I think overachieved at the beginning of the season. So the Kings are certainly not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. But you got to make a decision. Now, is the decision that we're going to keep George Karl? Then that has to be the end of it. If you're going to keep him, then he has to finish out this season, and you've got to just put whatever situations are behind you, let bygones be bygones, and try to win. You can't say that George Karl is going to stay as the head coach, and then a week from now, or let's say 2 weeks from now, because you still have the All-Star break, which is extended this year. Let's say 2 weeks from now, the team comes out very sloppy out of the All-Star break. Then you can't say we're going to fire George Karl. The decision, if that's what it is, you're going to keep him, it has to stay. You can't leave this guy up in the air. And it's just, I mean, it's getting a little sad now, especially with the Kings have been god-awful since basically that run of the early to mid-2000s ended, when they were a perennial contender. They could never really get over the hump of the Lakers. But I don't think they've been to the playoffs in going on 10 years now. They've really been terrible. A new owner is in there. But we've discussed, as we did with Derek Fisher when he got fired, Kevin McHale earlier in the year, David Blatt as well. We've done the videos. We've talked about it. They keep firing head coaches in the NBA. Now, George Karl has a bit more clout than some of these other guys. Kevin McHale has his clout as a player. He was a Hall of Fame player, but not really as a coach. David Blatt certainly didn't have any. I mean, George Karl has coached numerous teams. He coached the Supersonics to the finals. He took the Milwaukee Bucks to the conference finals. He also took the Denver Nuggets to the conference finals. So he certainly accomplished a lot as a head coach, and it's a little embarrassing at this point, for lack of a better term, that even this quality of a coach is having such trouble staying on with a team, and the players are, usurping him just a bit. And I don't know if that's exactly what's going on in Sacramento. Certainly he's had a bit of a contentious relationship with DeMarcus Cousins, but it could just be that ownership is inept, but I think it's a little bit of both in this situation. And we're just seeing way too much of coaches being let go. It's a bit of an inmate running the asylum sort of situation, where you're letting these players just do whatever they want. And it has to be solved. And an organization like Sacramento, you can't really expect them to right the ship, because they have shown no real commitment to any sort of competence over the last 10 years. So what are you going to do? They brought in Vlade Divac, and hopefully that's the decision that is made. They're going to stick with George Karl, and let's see if this team can't make a run coming out of it. There's certainly the talent there, and I would expect, as long as they're focused and committed, and they know this is who's going to be the coach the rest of the way, they'll be able to come out and make some noise the rest of the way.